5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go! You have to listen to my voice, I beg you. 50 downhill, triple caution! Triple cautions! You're not concentrating, you have to listen. Can you please concentrate? Please, please, I beg you. Into double caution jump! Double caution jump! No! Not listening. Shut up. No, I'm just giving you advice. Don't tell me how to drive.
Right, everybody, I want to welcome Stevan Wilken from Face First Media tonight on the show. This is our first Unpacking rally for this year's Dakar season. And this year we are getting into it a little bit earlier than last year, just to kind of get a bit of a groundswell going. And because of that, I thought there's nobody better to speak to than Stevan, because Stevan is a bit of an unknown, I believe, in the motorcycle racing world. So without further ado, Stevan Wilken, welcome on the show. It's really, really nice to have you here. So Stevan, tell us a bit more about yourself. Dakar, that's a big jump or announcement to make to the world that I saw. I was just, Stevan and I was talking before the time, and I was like, the first time I saw anything was just a South African going to Dakar, Stevan Wilken. So Stevan, please tell us a bit more about yourself.
Firstly, Willem and guys, thanks for having me. It's really an honor and a pleasure to be invited to chat on your show. So yeah, nothing special. I would probably call myself more like a passionate rookie, I would say. My Dakar journey actually kind of started about 2 years ago when I went back to my original sponsors. I've got a bit of a background from car racing. I did rally cars in South Africa for a couple of years. And I had a couple of sponsors. And yeah, we kind of got sidelined in 2008. And I started my business. And I had a beautiful family. And yeah, my business progressed. And after about 10 years, I went actually through a little bit of a messy divorce. I found myself in depression. And yeah, I did a bit of research and said, okay, how am I going to get out this? So, interesting fact was, they said you need to do something that kind of brings back your passion. So, went back to my old sponsors. I said to them, guys, I want to try and attempt to do the Dakar Rally in a car. So, they said, okay, can you put something together for us? We put a nice little story together for them, and we approached them. And then halfway through our season of this, COVID happened. And we noticed that we're just not going to have enough budget to do it in a car. So at very short notice, it was actually about June this year, I contacted a good friend of mine, of Brad Cox, a local hero here in South Africa, and Alfie. Yeah, so I said to Brad and Alfie, look guys, I managed to put some sponsorship together to try and go to Dakar. I'm not very well prepared. But I'm a very enthusiastic, passionate young guy. Can you guys please help me? And they put me into contact with Henk from HD Rally Raid. Really, really great team of guys. We started communicating, and yeah, they kind of really unpacked everything for me.
Wow. Well, this, I'm sorry about the bad times you went through, but the flip side of it is it brought you to the rally scene, which I maintain I ride bikes to stay sane, and it's definitely a natural antidepressant for me. So that is an awesome story, man. Wow. So do you have any background? I mean, you said you have racing background in the cars. I know that the South African Off-Road Series, you guys use road books. So why don't you tell the viewers a bit, like what's your navigation, let's say, experience prior to getting into Dakar? Are you comfortable with the road book and cap headings and waypoints, or is that all new stuff to you?
Well, up until about 3 months ago, that was all still brand new to me.
Wow.
So obviously, coming from a racing background, you've got your navigator that is telling you turn left, turn right, right two, right one. From racing cars to road books, the principle is the same, but it's kind of totally different. I had to physically decide, okay, how am I going to learn how to navigate? And I got into contact with Jordi from Villadom's rally station. And
you're out in Spain, right?
That's correct, up in Spain. And I spoke to Jordi and I spoke to Tina, and they said to me they have a spot. So I immediately flew out there. And yeah, I did a school with them, and yeah, my eyes were, I was really shocked, and I had to kind of dive into the deep end, learn cap headings, learn the waypoints, the directions, and all that. And after that, I immediately went to Portugal, and I attended another school there, and then from there I went straight to Morocco as a rookie.
So it's safe to say you're committed. I mean, and jumping in the deep end, yes, that's a really deep end, but it sounds like you had fun. So, what would you say to the guys that still in cars? They say with age comes a cage. So, are you feeling that the bike is a bit more freedom? What's the main difference as far as emotionally for you? Are you enjoying the bike more than the car?
Well, I did have a little bit of motorbike background from a younger age. Nothing really competitive, just racing as a youngster locally and stuff like that. I think the biggest difference between a car and a bike is the fact that in a car you get your kind of companionship with your navigator. You can kind of go through all these ups and downs together. You can speak, you can strategize, you can talk. Where on a motorbike you're very isolated. You kind of in your thoughts the whole time. There's no one to help you. So I found the mental journey really, really, strenuous and tough.
Yeah, and it's one of the aspects that I love about the bike, because if I have somebody in the car, I'll talk all the time anyway. But other than that, I end up talking to myself. But it is that. It's just giving you that moment to reflect and ride and literally just focus on the moment, because there's nothing else you're focusing on at that time. So, well, it's really great to hear it from your perspective. So Dakar, I mean, what are there any nerves? Are you feeling prepared? What's been the biggest challenge up till now?
I think the biggest challenge for me, obviously, doing everything at short notice. I'm a single father of two beautiful kids, and I run a full-time business, and then I've obviously got this dream to get to the end of Dakar. So there's been quite a bit of on my plate, going to Spain, going to Portugal, going to Morocco, coming back, and then eventually getting the nods that I made the selection for Dakar. So we were still trying to recover from Morocco, and then we've only had like a 3 to 4 week break, and kind of really getting back into to trying to train and to focus and to get everything ready for Dakar.
Okay. So Morocco, how I'm assuming you did the Rally du Maroc, the qualifier.
Yes, that's correct.
Was it, and how was it? How did you find it? What was the general experience there for you?
Yeah, I've got a new respect for the guys on the bikes. I think anybody, from the listener's perspective, that can sit there and say, it's a couple of guys in the dunes just kind of opening the gas, and that's what I thought when I kind of took on this whole thing. And when I got to Morocco, and I think after about 3 stages, and the amount of rocks and the amount of distance I had to cover, and the early mornings and the late nights, and it was really tough. It was a lot harder than what I thought, and kind of came back with a lot of respect.
Okay. So, but hopefully a bit of hunger for Dakar, like doing it just 3 times over.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit of hunger and a lot of fear at the same time. So, because it's 3 times longer, but we're just going to kind of try and take it day by day, and just getting to the end of the Dakar would be a great achievement for me.
Definitely, and I definitely, I myself will be cheering from you, but I'm sure all the listeners and everybody in South Africa and all over will definitely be supporting you all the way. It's one of the really nice things for me of the bikers in the sport. Everybody pushes each other towards the finish line, so that's great. So given that, I'm assuming you mentioned HT Rally Raid from Hank. I'm assuming, are you going with HT to the Dakar, or are you doing it by the moto? What's your plans?
Originally, when I started the whole journey and I put my sponsorship together, I was fortunate enough to have just in kind of the right amount of funding to go with Henk then. I thought taking on this whole Dakar thing, the Mali Moto being having to prep your own bike and going through, I thought to myself, I don't want to risk something that big. I'd rather spend the extra little bit amount of money and try and go with the team. Henk then just had one more spot left in the team, and yeah, I managed to secure a spot. And yeah, the amount of experience they kind of bring to the table, they advise you, and they're a great bunch of guys. And yeah, the experience they bring and the assistance, I think, is really phenomenal. And when you're taking on something so big that the minutest thing can go wrong, and like I said, my process started 2 years ago up until today, and I didn't want to risk anything going wrong. So
you wanted to increase your chances, and I think many of us kind of prospective Dakar riders is in exactly the same boat. Like, do I go this year and I do Malamoto, or do I save another year and do it with a team because I want to limit my risk of not finishing? So it's very interesting to hear it from your perspective. I'm very excited to see HT back at the Dakar as well. They're a super good support team, so I'm sure you'll have a great time with them. Do you have any team members that that's going to be with HT, or are they all going to be strangers when you meet?
Well, Michael Doherty, which is from South Africa, I haven't met him personally. I hear he's a great guy, so it would be nice to have another South African team. Bayes KTM is normally quite close to them, and Bradley and those guys are there, so I know them quite well. Miriam Paul, which I think, correct me if I'm wrong, I think is the current female champion or the Dakar champion. She'll be there, and then some of the guys that were competing with me in Morocco would also be in the team.
So it's not going to be a bunch of strangers.
No, there are going to be a few guys that we do know, luckily, which is going to make it a bit easier.
Well, thank you so much for kind of giving us a window into your life and into your plans. It's really exciting. Can you share with us a little bit of what is your let's call it your plan of action or your attack plan for Dakar? Do you have a plan? Do you have something in mind, or is it just a question of surviving each day?
I took the kind of approach in Morocco to try and stay problem free. I quickly noticed in Rally Raid that you can go faster in the right direction when you navigate proper than going fast in the wrong direction. So I was just going to try and ride within my limits and try and stay problem free, and it kind of worked well for me in Morocco. And if I can do that again in Dakar and just kind of go day by day, then hopefully we'll reach the finish in a decent position. So I think that would be the strategy for me.
Nice, yeah. I mean, incident free, crash free, problem free. If you can race the bike through every day without issues, I mean, then you're gonna have a great ride. I think we all strive for those days. So that's amazing. Oh wow! And so then after Dakar, is I know it's very early days with only the Maroc behind you, but as the bug bitten, is it something that you see yourself doing in the future, or is Dakar just a tick to kind of pick up and then carry on?
That's quite an interesting question. Like I said, my journey originally started with my great team of sponsors, the guys from the Plennegy group, which I know well. And I'm in marketing, so I try and tell a really great story, going through the whole Dakar process. So I think if I capture a great story and I get to the end, my sponsors would maybe renew my sponsorship for next year. And if they do that, then we can always look at maybe doing some more events. Be it in a bike or be it in a car. Those are the guys that eventually pay the bills. And if I can make them happy, then I'm happy, and then we can, continue my journey into the years coming.
Cool. Well, before we wrap up, what would you say, Stevan, as far as if you were to give advice to people? I mean, there are hundreds of people that is where you were 2 years ago, 1 year ago, that want to get to Dakar, that has this big tick that they want to tick off. If you were to give them one piece or even 10 pieces of advice, like, what would be your biggest tip for guys looking to get to Dakar versus just dreaming about it?
I think one of the best things that anybody could do is to be persistent and, to kind of never give up. If you can build great friendships with like-minded companies and people, and if you can do that, then people would maybe support your journey, and that's what I did. Just kind of relentless at it, build great relationships. I met some great people, and kind of be humble, down to earth, easygoing, and just continue with the dream. I think that's what I did, and it worked for me, and I think it can work for anybody else.
Right. Well, you mentioned the word relentless. I've got some friends that are doing Dakar, 5 of them at Malamoto. It's called the American Rally Originals, which is a group of 5 guys, the ARO guys, and their slogan is relentless forward momentum. So I think relentless and rally always goes hand in hand, more so when it's with Dakar. So I would like to personally wish you good luck at Dakar. We will definitely follow you every single day. Hopefully we can catch up with you at Dakar, maybe do a quick FaceTime or WhatsApp call with you, see how things are going. Then we'll see once you're in the thick of it with some dust on your face what it feels like. So it would be great to chat with you again. Thank you so much for your time. I really, really appreciate it.
Thanks, Willem, and thank you for allowing me to come on your show. I really appreciate it.
Pleasure, man. Enjoy it and stay well, and good luck. Safe travels.
Thank you, Willem. Chat soon.